Welcome to another cooking demonstration. This is the carob fruit balls. This is one that you don't want to miss because it's got no sugar, completely healthy. So when everyone else is eating the rum balls that I've demonstrated before with the margarine and the honey and the those types of things, you can eat this one and make this one. It's raw, it's no cooking, so it takes you 5 minutes. It's just a matter of taking some pitted dates like these that have already been pitted and putting them in the processor. But before we put the dates in the processor, we want to put some walnuts. You can see how many walnuts I have there. Put the walnuts. You can put some almonds in. Almonds are very nutritious. They're better nut than even walnuts. Walnuts are good for memory and brain. Walnuts have less milk. And then cashews. Any nut really that you want. You can see I'm putting a few different nuts in. These are the raw cashews. You can do any cashews you like. The reason I take all the nuts first, I've got Brazils and whatever you prefer, and just give that a quick process. And you'll see that it's come up like breadcrumbs. Do you see the consistency there? It's barely like breadcrumbs. So I'm going to set that to the side. I'll tip that into this container here. I want to do my walnuts first, so I'll just sit that back on. I want to do my dates first, because if you do the dates before you crush the nuts, everything becomes sticky. The first ingredients when you're making the ball is to put the dates in and process those a little bit. You can see after a few presses they're cut up. Again, you can see they're fine. They're quite crumbly. You could do it by hand if you don't have a bar mix. And then with this mixture here, I'm going to add a spoonful of honey. This is our honey from the garden, so it's unprocessed and it's got no glucose with it. And that goes into the mixture as well. The honey is really the only liquid that goes into the ingredients, so it means the storage life is extended. If you've got no soy milks or coconut milks or anything like that, and honey never goes off. It's, lasts forever. So we've got the honey now to make it a little bit sticky. And you can see immediately that it's got into a ball and it's very sticky. At this point, I'm going to add some carob. Carob to my friends in Spain, that my son is over there, and they said, what's that? And actually carob is produced and grown in Spain, and we import it from there and some of those other countries. So I'm going to put 2 spoonfuls of carob in because I like it. Carob is naturally occurring sweet where chocolate is bitter, and carob doesn't have the addictive effect of the theobromine that's in the chocolate. That's why we eat the carob. So I'm going to give that another whiz around like that. Ooh, you can see carob does have quite a lot of power. Now it's time to add a bit of the, you can see it's quite dry. I'm going to add some nuts to it. 1, 2, 3, 4 spoonfuls of nuts. And I'm going to give it another process. Right, you can see how it looks now, that it's quite dry, a little bit sticky still. So I'm going to add, just to get that carob mix, see how it's still a little bit dry? I'm going to add a little bit more honey. You'll be able to see when you add your ingredients whether that's going to hold a ball shape or not. Because when I take that out, it will hold a ball shape at that stage, or maybe I won't put any more honey in. I'll just leave it like that. So that's basically the ingredients of the carob balls. Now the important thing now is the rolling. So if you take this, and if you think it's not gluey enough, you can process it a bit more and just add some more honey or add nuts or more dates. You can add sultanas, you can add apricots. You can really play with this recipe and change it. Even you could probably do it on. So that's quite sticky there, you can see that? It's sticking to my fingers, and that's how I want it to be. So when I take a piece of it and I roll it, so I can, it's mixed around, you can see the nuts. It's really yum too. You can take a ball like that, a piece, maybe a spoonful, and then I usually take, say, a macadamia nut, maybe 2 pieces or 1 piece, and put it in the middle and wrap it around. It looks like chocolate, doesn't it? But it's nutritious. And then it doesn't stick to my hands. That's the consistency you want it. If you want a little bit stickier, and then you can roll it in either the nuts, which we've already done, or you can roll it in the coconut, which is here as well. I'll just get another container. So here's my other container, and I'm just going to put some shredded coconut into it. You can put it desiccated or shredded, and then you can take another piece of this, just enough that you want to roll something in. You can even put a cherry in the middle. Just sort of flatten it in your hand, and then take a cherry and put that in the middle. One thing I do miss when you, I used to love the soft scented chocolates when I used to eat them and be addicted to them. And I do miss that. When you go to the shops, you don't seem to have the replacements with the carob. So there, and then you roll it again in those nuts like that. If it's more sticky, more nuts stick to it. Or the next one I'm going to do is roll in the coconut. Maybe I'll put a apricot in it. So I'll take just part of an apricot, or you can take a full one. I'll cut it in half. It looks a little bit different. So just cut it in half, put that in the middle, and then when they're all rolled, nobody really knows what they're going to get as a centre. This time you can roll it in the coconut. You can give it a bit of a roll around. So there's 3 there, and then just for another example, you can put in I know my husband likes hazelnuts, so I could put them in, but I like Brazil nuts, so you can take a Brazil nut and put it in, give it a roll around, and roll that in the nuts. And then maybe I'll do another one here. This mixture will make 1, 2, maybe, what have I got, 4 there? Maybe it'll make 8 or 10 in the centre, the same. Okay, so it's very easy. Raw, you can do it anywhere. And you can just use your knife, or you can get it, again, flatten it, put the walnut in the middle, cover it over. Now, one thing you can do with these is on special occasions, because they're quite rich, is presentation. You can give them to like someone as a present instead of buying the chocolates in, and they're quite, actually it works out cheaper to do this than to buy chocolate boxed up and things. And when you're giving it to someone you love, you can be sure that you're giving them something healthy. But I'll just show you how you can present them, make a little packet to put them in. And any of these nuts that are left over, just make some more. Don't be scared to try things in the kitchen. I'm going to, soon I've run out of dates, put in some raisins and put another cherry in. I'll put in some sultanas and some cranberries and some raisins, and that will give you the variety of nutrition. It's nice to eat a variety to get a complete balanced nutrition. So that mixture there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I made 8 there. I'm going to quickly, seeing I've got all the ingredients here already, just show you, and I'll see myself what happens if I put in some. So if you run out of dates like me, you can experiment, and we're going to put in a cup of raisins, cranberries and sultanas. You can see them there all mixed together. Probably it's good to give to your grandma or something like that. You're just going to do the same thing again, just whiz it up. Put a bit of honey in. You can just run the honey in like this. Probably a spoon of honey. Oops. A bit more generous than before. So we're going to have a stickier mix, but we've got more ingredients as before too. Put that back on. Put that off. You can see it's become a lump. At this stage we're going to add that carob again. Remember how carob is really dusty. I might only just add 1 spoonful of carob this time, so it's not as strong. Some people like dark chocolates and light chocolates, so the same with the carob. I'll do a lighter one this time. Okay, now I'm going to add, it's quite sticky, it's a ball, but I'm going to add my nuts. I'll just put maybe a spoon or 2 for the nuts. So we've got that ball again. Quite sticky, but it's fine, I think. That's quite good for working with. So I'll tip that mixture again into my work bowl, and we can roll it. All the kids will want to lick the bowl when you're finished. Okay. So that's all in there, and then take my middle out. And then again, so it'll work fine with the sultanas and the raisins and the cranberries. And if it's a bit sticky, you can see I'm working in a little bit more nuts. You don't want to add too much until you roll it, then take a piece off. Put an almond in the middle. It's a stickier consistency. Maybe the nuts will stick to it better. So now that we've got our rolls here, I want to show you quickly how to make, this is just the ordinary paper that you use for printing your documents and what is it, A4. Just cut one end off like that. Now with those, you've got to do the same pattern. It's just a matter of folding it in half to the edge like that, and into the middle, and into the middle again. So that you do that with both pieces. These are actually your guidelines that you're doing now. So you've got 16 squares there, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 squares. And then you fold it into the middle like that. And then this is your guide. Fold that side there in to that line there. So do the 4 corners all exactly the same. So here we have, we're actually making a little decorative box to put these sweets in that we've made, and presentation to give to that special person. So there you have, it will be the bottom, and then the lid goes over the top. So it'll be the opening here. So you're folding them back into the middle. You can do bigger boxes and smaller boxes just to suit yourself. And then folding those corners down again like that. Now with the carob balls that we've already done here, you can actually take some alfoil and wrap them each individually, like you see them in delicatessens or in those chocolatiers or those sweet shops. Or you can just take a piece of alfoil and put it inside. You might want to just fold it and make it a little bit, and see how big it is. Maybe if you want, you can put a few nuts in with it, walnuts, especially the big ones. Or you can put a few apricots, walnuts, you put a few Brazil nuts, a few almonds, and then you hand it over like that. Turn that over, and this one will just fit on it perfectly because this one is just that little fraction bigger than the other one. See how that fits on? So I hope you have fun experimenting with your dried fruits and your raw cooking, and that you can give many people pleasure as well as yourself.